What's up, guys?
Hey, coach.
Real quick synopsis. That was a very poorly played game by us. Um, we came into the game, um, told our guys point blank how Kent State was going to attack us. Um, since Rod's been here, they've been a team that's been known for toughness, defense, imposing their will. Said you got to be able to stand up to them. And we came here last year, laid down, got beat by 20, and then did the same thing to them at our place. We told them how it was going to be, told them how they were going to come at them. You had to stand your ground. You got to be strong with the ball. You got to be physical on defense. You got to match their physicality. And we gave up 41 points in the first half, 28 points in the paint, 13 at the free throw line. So they looked at us, and I think you can tell from the 28 points in the paint and the 13 free throws exactly how they feel about our basketball team. And there's not a worse thing you can say about a basketball team than the feeling that they had about us. Go ahead and answer your questions.
What is that feeling that you feel like they had about you guys?
Well, they obviously, with their game plan, they thought they could take advantage of. They thought we were soft. They could attack us. And they did exactly that. 28 points in the paint, 13 free throws, 41 first half points, not one basket made outside the paint. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory.
For sure. And the paint is really the biggest area. I mean, you guys improved in the second half, but what do you feel like? Is there anything that has to change, or what needs to happen?
We have a learning issue. Obviously, we've had some issues on the road. We changed how we go about things. We went over personnel, like over the course of a prep, like we broke it down more. We did more meetings, less time. Okay, maybe our meeting is too long. These guys, their attention span, they're young, we shorten them. It didn't make any difference. Jalen Solinger was left-handed last year when we played him. Jalen Solinger's left-handed tonight. Solinger's going to be left-handed when we play him in February, and we go out there and we sit and force him to his left hand. Like some of the things, the mistakes that we make, you draw multiple times tonight in the huddle, drawing actions two times. Do you understand? Yes. And then walking out on the court and not being able to execute and going the wrong spot, making the wrong, like you can't make this stuff up. We are a bad basketball team right now. We're declining. We're poorly coached, and I've got to figure out a way to fix it.
And so do you feel like that's kind of what needs to change in order to right the ship after these 3 straight losses?
No, you've got to have – it's not the 3 straight losses. Like it's the lack of improvement. It's the lack of attention to detail. It's the lack of learning and being able to understand your assignment and then do it. We teach it, we show it, we walk them through it, we physically walk them through it, we watch on film. Like we do use every learning method that there is. I have to find a new one because what we're doing is not working. It's not taking hold. The older guys are playing too many minutes. There's nobody to put in behind because we're not getting production. The same mistakes that we see every day in practice continue to show up in game. Like you can't stop the game enough to fix these problems. And so there's a 1-2 issue, I think. And we played with a real lack of heart tonight, which was really disappointing. And so we've got to be able to fix it. We've got to be able to fix it. I only know one way. I only know one way, and it's worked for 20-something years. I've seen it. Different teams from different coaches, different personalities. But you got to get a group of guys that want to compete and want to win. And I'm not sure we got enough of that right now.
And do you feel like that's something that like you can change, or does that have to come from them?
I mean, listen, man, like I just told them, it's got to be. I've got to do a better job of getting through to them. At the end of the day, it's my issue. It's my issue. This season, it's my issue. I'm not getting through to them. Um, some of the mistakes. I mean, they're really hard to explain. I mean, it's like you can't make it up. Like you really can't make it up. And then, um, our lack of whether it's experience or what have you. We shot. I know off the top of my head 4 air balls tonight. That's hard to do. I mean, that's really difficult to do. Um, they're a good defensive team, but they weren't a Kent State defensive team that we've seen in the past. They've got some things going on themselves. And so things start snowballing on you. We have a real lack of leadership on this team from within the team. That we haven't grown in that area well enough. I've got to do a better job of pushing those guys to become leaders, demanding more of them to become leaders. I got to find different ways to communicate that to them and get that out of them. I think you can sense my frustration with where we are as a basketball program, because we've really hit a wall here, and we don't have it inside us right now to be able to combat it.
Last thing from me, is there anything that you feel like the team can build off of that they're doing well right now?
I'm not, without watching the film, it's really fresh right now. There wasn't much positive that I think we can take. I don't think we play hard. My personal opinion, and I'm the head coach. I don't think we play hard, and that's really hard for me to say out loud that any program that I've ever been affiliated with doesn't play hard. Be bad. That being bad does not bother me, but play hard. And I don't think, in my opinion, we play exceptionally hard. We had, we do the deflection thing. Like, it is embarrassing the number of deflections that we're putting onto that board, and that comes from activity. It comes from activity. Then you're like, hey, you're playing guys too many minutes. Well, listen, like, guys get frustrated. I thought Bashir took some uncharacteristic forced shots tonight that I didn't think had his normal aggressiveness and strength to his shots. I can fix it. I can sit him down and coach him through that, but like, I can't sit him down. Right? Davion Bailey goes out there and gets beat by a left-handed player twice left to the rim, and then the third time fouls him. Okay, like, I turn to there's nobody else in there that's producing, because when you put this guy in and he runs into the same ball screen that he ran into every day since September. And so we've got an issue there. We've got, that's where I'm talking about our learning curve. These guys have to learn, and then be able to produce, so we can get those guys a rest so they can make some fresher mistakes. Because the bench is the best teaching tool. And also the bench provides, like, some of these guys just they need a minute break around the media timeout. Right? Well, you get that minute break. Well, we can't get to the media timeout before we give up 7 points. So we've got a lot of things that we're going to have to get fixed quickly, or this is going to be a very long MAC season.
That's all I have.
Zach, you got anything? You just sit there and listen, my man.
I'll ask you this. So obviously, Zane's injured, obviously was one of the guys that gave you size. Kind of, what is your kind of goal without size? What needs to change with that?
Well, like I tell you, the surprise, like, I think Ben has surprised us. Now, Ben didn't compete particularly well tonight, but he's really improved and given us some solid minutes, as Zane was behind with the 6-week injury. Injuries happen. You're on scholarship. You're expected to perform. You got roles have been clearly defined. Trust me. The job description's been defined. You got to go out and do your job. And so we've got to have some guys that go out and do their jobs at a higher level for us to be able to compete in this league. But you know, we got enough bigs. That's not a concern of mine. You know, I feel bad for Zane because I feel like he was starting to kind of figure some things out and come on. I thought he competed well against Minnesota. I'm not sure, like in a game like tonight, that it was best for him because of the versatility and speed and athleticism, which they get their big is hurt. You know, now if he was playing, you know, Zane may have had an opportunity to match up there, but with how they had to play tonight, I'm not real sure that would have been, you know, Zane's best matchup. So, you know, I just feel bad for him that he loses the rest of the year.
And then last thing for me, you know, Coach, I feel like earlier in the season you talked about some of the guys kind of looking good, but in the last 2 games you talked about some of the mistakes. What has kind of maybe changed in the last 2 games that wasn't there in the first few games of the season?
Scouting reports. You know, you got to understand, like scouting reports. You know, people come in, they're going to take away your strengths. What else do you have? Like, what more do you have in your game? How can you combat that? You know, and that's why we're not getting scouting reports very often into the game. Like it's a real issue. It's a real issue that we can't do that. And just overall, you know, basketball IQ stuff. You know, like take for, you know, we had a really poor first half. We're getting down. It's under a minute into the first half. We got an opportunity to get a 2-for-1 situation. Call a very simple middle ball screen with Jalen and Bashir, our 2 best scorers. And we throw the ball to a guy in the corner because he was open. Well, guess what? They do scouting reports. There's a reason that dude in the corner is open, right? I want the ball in these 2 people's hands so we get a quality look, and then we get back on defense, and then, you know, we get the last shot of the half. Kind of that's the 2-for-1, right? I don't know. Well, we rifle that thing in the corner. We shoot a 20-foot shot about 25 feet. It leads to a transition dunk. And then there's 33 seconds on the clock. I'm screaming, run it, bounce, as we practice these exact situations in practice. To let the ball bounce, inbounds it with 30 seconds. Let's take the last shot and let's stop the bleeding here. And let's try to get to halftime and regroup. We grab it out of the net, rifle it back in, go try to score again, and give them another opportunity to score. I mean, it is beyond the things that we do when the game gets competitive and how we think. You know, I think, you know, the game is just going way too fast for some guys in their minds when, you know, they've got to just be able to slow it down and execute and do their jobs.